So today we're talking about the worst fan base in MMA history, I would say. Before any of you criticize me, this is not a video about the fighters, this is a video about the fans. And I'm pretty sure most of you probably know this fan base. Some of you might be a part of this fan base. I'm not talking about all of you, but I'm mostly talking about the biggest fans and the ones glazing too much. And I know I glaze Ilya a lot, but it's fine to glaze your favorite fighter, but it comes to a point where it's quite unbearable. And unfortunately, that is the Dagestani fighting fans.
Careful that he doesn't punch himself out. Oh! Massive knockdown for Topuria! And still, he does it again! Ilya Topuria!
Now, the biggest example of this is obviously Khabib. Khabib probably ruined a lot of the fan base of MMA because after his rise and dominance of the division, everyone thinks every Dagestani is just on the next level. They think every Dagestani is gonna wipe every single fighter. Let's look at the Umar fight. I got Merab, I didn't get time to make a video, but everyone wanted Umar to win for some reason. Someone who won one fight in the top 15 and got a title shot, and then luckily got his ass whooped, showed everyone that these Dagestani fighters are not invincible. And that's the problem. Afterwards, after he lost, clearly, most people would agree that he clearly lost that fight, he complained. He made excuses. Ah, brother, no excuses. But I broke my arm. What's that? That's an excuse. You know how many fighters break their arms in the first fight? Hamzat Chimaev broke his hand in the first fight with Kamaru, in the first round with Kamaru Usman. Did he complain? No, he still won the fight. I thought it was a draw, but on the cards he still won the fight, so it's no excuse. Merab came in with an infected leg and a broken back. Did you hear him complain? No, he said he had an injury. It didn't say anything like, oh, that's why my performance wasn't the best or anything like that, because that's a real man, that's a real fighter. Not like Umar. He made excuses directly after the fight. We're so lucky that fight wasn't in Saudi Arabia, because if it was, Merab would have gotten robbed. And how Umar was the favorite, I still don't understand. This shows you the bias that people have towards these fighters. They think just because they have a Nurmagomedov name, they will beat everyone. They're a world beater. You can swear these guys are like from an alien planet and unbeatable, but they are beatable. If you look at like another division, heavyweight division, Evloev. People think Evloev is the next biggest thing ever. They think he destroys Ilya, but he could barely beat Arnold Allen. In fact, he should have lost that fight because the knees he landed against him were not illegal. And if it was now, that fight happened now, exactly, Arnold Allen would have won that fight. But no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about Aljamain Sterling out-grappling him in a robbery fight that Evloev won. It's insane. And Islam Makhachev. Now, this is hard because I really like Islam Makhachev, and I'm so glad he's the champion for the lightweight division. Now, I think Ilya beats him. That's my opinion. But that doesn't mean I dislike Islam Makhachev. Islam is probably one of the best, or not the best fighters we've seen today. For me, it's between him or Ilya, who's going to be the GOAT of the sport in the next few years. That's how good Islam is. But the fans ruin it. You can swear, because Islam has holes in his game. Because everyone does. Everyone has a problem. But when you go into the comments on Instagram or on YouTube, when people talk about fights, let's look at my own video about Islam versus Ilya. The people didn't even watch the video and they complained. They told me, you don't know anything about the sport. Islam's gonna wipe Ilya. It's not even gonna be a close fight. You didn't even listen to the arguments. They are incapable of listening to an argument on why someone thinks they could lose. Because everyone can lose. In fact, he already lost once. How much more evidence can you give someone? And let's talk about the privilege that these fighters get. The amount of people who complain and say Dagestani fighters are disliked or people are racist against them, it's completely untrue. They have faced the most privilege from the UFC than any fighter almost ever. Let's compare the bantamweight division, okay. Sean O'Malley won a few fights in the top 15. In fact, he won a robbery, to be fair, against Peter Yan. But at least he had a few fights before that in the ranked division. Umar won one fight against someone who was laid off for a year or two, and they got a title shot. His first ranked opponent. In fact, his first ranked opponent was the 2 or 3 ranked person, Corey Sandhagen. We don't see that a lot. Alex Pereira at least had to fight a few people before he could get someone in the top 7 in Sean Strickland. Then he got a title shot because he had relation to Adesanya before he came into UFC. Umar's only relation is to Khabib. He has no relation to Merab whatsoever, and he was disrespectful. People keep saying like Merab's just a wuss. Why is he so worked up? Because Umar was disrespectful. The people, if you're not biased towards Dagestani fighters, you would have seen that Merab was clearly being disrespected. Ah, brother, you're not Georgian. You're not even in your country. Umar was completely the only one pushing this nonsense narrative. And I don't understand it. And look at the only Dagestani fighter, I must say, that is not getting any privilege is Ankalev. Ankalev, even though he's getting the fight now and he's going to get knocked out brutally, I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't know that, he's definitely going to get knocked out. Islam was also in the benefit. I don't know who he fought last, but I think it was Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker was like ranked 8th at the time, and then he got a title shot. I know Khalil Roundtree recently got one, but we've seen this in the last few years, that fighters who have 1 ranked win or 2 ranked wins get the title shots, but the people who benefit the most of it is Dagestani fighters. We only have 2 examples of that recently happening, and it's maybe Sean O'Malley and Alex Pereira, with Khalil Roundtree getting a title shot and Chito Vera getting a title shot. Completely undeserved title shots, but they get it for free. Now, the Dagestani fighters are great. I think they're some of the best fighters in the UFC, but their fan base are unbearable. If you go into any comment section mentioning anything about a fraud Islam, you would find people threatening them, saying they're stupid, they can't think anything about MMA, they don't know anything about MMA, but they're unwilling to understand that their fighters can lose. Ilya can lose, definitely. I can see how Islam wins against him, but I think Ilya has a bit of an advantage in that fight, because it's my opinion. But if I tell that to some people, they will tell me I know nothing about MMA, etc. And even Khabib's career. They can swear Khabib went on a John Jones career, but never losing a round. Khabib lost a round against Conor McGregor. Think about that. Conor McGregor won a round against Khabib. That's bad. That's really bad. Because Conor McGregor, in my opinion, is one of the most overrated fighters ever. And you can swear Khabib fought like the best people ever. He has like 5 good wins in his entire career. 5. Ilya's last 3 fights are more impressive than Khabib's entire career. Islam's last, excluding Moicano, last 3 fights were the best wins compared to Khabib's career. Khabib has one of the most overrated careers ever. He's not top 10 ever. He's super overrated. He fought mainly strikers, fought a real wrestler. He was too scared to move up and fight GSP or Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman would have wasted Khabib. And I think Islam, and the bias is clearly shown. People think Islam can beat DDP. DDP would walk through Islam Makhachev like it wasn't even someone. He's way too small. If they were on equal footing and Islam was a natural middleweight, that would be a very close fight. I would even give it to Islam. But he's not. He's a lightweight. And he's not even a super massive lightweight. He has a good chance at welterweight, but if he moves to middleweight, he will get destroyed. Thank you for watching, and expect a lot more from me again. Thank you.